This is the TikTok brought to you by the theory that enough time has passed between then and now that I can't be connected back to this guy and I can safely tell the story. Way back in the day, there were two professions that I did. I was a bail bondsman and a realtor. Now, I had a bail bonding client who was facing some serious charges for drug trafficking. And to defend himself against those charges, he had to pay a lawyer an exorbitant amount of money, which I think is completely fair. And that meant he had to sell his house. Bada boom, bada bing, I'm a realtor too, let me help you out. So I go through the whole thing, list his property, this, that, and the third. And day one that it's on the market, I get contacted by a buddy of mine who also happens to be a federal agent. He calls me up and he was like, hey man, I'm looking to buy a house. I'd like to go see this house. And I was like, cool. The very first thing we do whenever somebody wants to buy a house is make sure you're pre-qualified. Do you have a pre-qualification letter? And he said, I do not. Let me go get one. Not 1 hour later, he has a pre-qualification from Quicken Mortgage. Now, this buddy's a friend of mine. I have no reason to distrust him. We've known each other for years. And my brain did not put two and two together that this client is a freaking criminal and this client is freaking law enforcement. So once I have the letter of pre-qualification in my hand, we sit down and fill out the client agreement that says that this law enforcement agent is now my client, so I can represent him and show him houses. I'm now a dual agent. By the way, if you're buying a house in North Carolina, don't ever use a dual agent. Just don't. I take him out. We're showing the house. He's looking through. I step into another room. I come back. He's standing on a chair lifting ceiling tiles in the basement and patting around each of the ceiling tiles. That is the point when all sorts of warning bells just went the fuck off in my head and I realize, I'm sorry, are you conducting a search? To which he says, nah, just checking for leaks. Now, while that is technically a valid answer, I'm not really sure it passes the sniff test. Like, something just doesn't smell right here. Now, as a real estate agent, I am required to represent the best interest of both of my clients. And I kind of figured out that the best interest of one of my clients was for this showing to end. So, I politely end the showing as quickly as we can. Hey, I've got another appointment that I have to go to. We're going to need to wrap this up. And I go to my lawyer and I'm like, yo, lawyer, what's going on here? And my lawyer dies laughing, calls me a fucking idiot for not seeing it coming. Says, yeah, let me do some research. Apparently, according to at least one lawyer, what that federal agent did was legal. And after a little bit more research, not the first time he's done it. So for those people out there that don't want federal agents searching your house to find evidence of you committing crimes, please don't list your house for sale, because the feds will come tour your house.